Welcome back, everybody, to another Oscar predictions. We're going back to 2022 again. Obviously, the 2021 Oscars already happened. I have my reaction to those videos up if you want to check that out. But we're going to go ahead and look to the future. Look to what we think, or I think, will be nominated in 2022. I'm going to first start off by going over and showing a few films that I think could definitely be released in 2021. Some I'm definitely not as sure of coming out, but maybe some of them could release in 2022, or if anything, it's some movies that you can look forward to. Some of these will definitely come out. Some of these will definitely not come out. The thing is, they don't have release dates, so I'm going to put them up on the screen right now and just talk over them. Amsterdam by David O. Russell. I think it will probably come out. It does not have a release date, but if it does, it will probably be competing in a lot of categories, including acting and screenplay. I don't think director, but maybe picture. Probably be competing. It's got a lot of talent behind it, like Emmanuel Lubezki and the woman who did the Joker score, so those could definitely be competing. Pinocchio by Guillermo del Toro. It's a Netflix animation film right now, so Netflix seems like they have at least 2 or 3 other projects that they want to promote instead of it, so I'm pretty sure this is going to get pushed to 2022. The Northman by Robert Eggers. I think this could definitely come out, and if it does, it needs to be more of a mainstream hit. It needs to be able to, first of all, get good distribution. It needs to be very well critically acclaimed, even maybe more so than his previous 2 films, even though those did very well. It needs to be appealing to Academy members in some way, but from what I've heard, it's more action slash, epic, Braveheart type of vibes. I don't know. I don't know enough about the film to say that, but that's what I'm thinking. Don't Worry, Darling from Olivia Wilde will probably come out, I think. It's already been getting some images released, but in case it doesn't, I'm keeping it here. And Olivia Wilde will probably have a little bit of trouble competing in a lot of categories, though. This is a thriller, I think, from what I've heard. Those usually have a little bit of trouble competing at the Oscars, but I think especially people like Florence Pugh will definitely be in the conversation if this comes out. Yeah, there's a bunch of other films here I'll quickly list off. If you're interested in any of them, leave in the comments. But yeah, I don't think most of these other ones are coming out probably. So as far as a Best Picture winner, I would honestly have no idea at this point. That's why Tragedy Macbeth just seems like a movie that I feel like will have a really hard time failing at the Oscars. It's got like a ridiculous amount of talent behind it. I really don't think it would flop at the Oscars. I think it would at least get some nominations, from probably a Best Picture nomination. I'm more ranking these by their likelihood of getting in, even though I'm not even completely sure about a lot of these. Some of these, could be too weird for the Academy or could not be good enough for the Academy. Of course, we all know the Academy doesn't have the best taste sometimes, but Tragedy of Macbeth is currently my number 1. Joel Cohen, it's been a while since they've had a Best Picture competitor. I think this could easily be it. Nightmare Alley from Guillermo del Toro. It's a remake of an old Hollywood movie that's kind of right up their lane, and Guillermo, he had a pretty good time with his last movie, so he'll probably be in there. Dune, assuming this isn't a critical failure, for sure. I don't think it will be. Financially, it probably needs to at least fare well. It can't be Blade Runner. It can't fail as much as Blade Runner, or else it'll probably have a hard time getting here. But it doesn't seem like Blade Runner. It seems closer to Star Wars than Blade Runner, in theory. I don't know enough about the book to say that. House of Gucci, out of the 2 Ridley Scott projects, this and The Last Duel, I think this will probably have the better chance of getting into the Best Picture race. Based on the actors and the story, it just seems like the kind of thing the Academy Awards would nominate. Soggy Bottom, or Untitled PTA Project, assuming it's still called Soggy Bottom. Some people think it would be ridiculous for an Oscar to be, for a movie called Soggy Bottom to win an Oscar. You could argue that for like Borat's subsequent movie film. Obviously it didn't win any, but it's still there. Yeah, I think this could easily get in. It's also a movie about a teenager, like child star, and a director, played by Bradley Cooper. Also, Cooper Hoffman's in this film, Benny Safdie, lots of talented people. Of course, PTA doing the cinematography again. Could easily be another Phantom Thread or better, honestly. It definitely has Best Picture potential considering its subject matter. And, PTA might be bringing a masterpiece to our eyes, who knows. The French Dispatch from Wes Anderson, I might lower this in the future. I do think it has a solid chance. I think the Academy Awards and Wes are more entwined, at least based on Grand Budapest's success. Of course, the Grand Budapest was the last live-action movie he made, so we don't know exactly. Moonrise Kingdom was also very close, but again, it got kind of snubbed. So there are definitely people in the Academy who don't love Wes Anderson and prevent him from getting in, but, it's about journalists. Those usually do well. I know it's not going to be, but I think this is the kind of movie that could get in the Best Picture. Don't Look Up from Adam McKay. I had this higher, I think, on my last episode, or I might have moved it around. The reason being, apparently it's more of a comedy. And secondly, there was a script leaked, and apparently it wasn't too good, but I'm pretty sure that script was changed, and I don't know if that script's even legit, so I'm not trusting that very much. But I am lowering it a bit, just based on the comedy idea, and I don't know. This could be closer to Vice, or worse. I don't know if it's going to be as important as, his other two, as Vice or The Big Short. Power of the Dog is my number 8 still. I think Jane Campion has a lot of potential. A lot of people are high on the piano. I still need to see that. And I think this will be one of Netflix's bigger pushes. It's either going to be this or Don't Look Up. And I feel like Power of the Dog, from what I've heard, sounds like more of an Oscar contender than Don't Look Up. I only put Don't Look Up because Adam McKay has had so much success at the Oscars lately. Number 9, I have Eternals. I have a lot of faith in this movie. Chloe Zhao has been clearly loved by the Academy, as we saw by her 2 wins in picture and director. Obviously not a ton of love. She could have also gotten editing and writing. She got neither of those, but the fact that she's gotten so much success with those, plus the fact that this is an MCU project that looks a little different, it looks like it could be more of a Black Panther project, not in it being like a revolutionary new movie of representation, but just like a really good movie in general, I think. Not that Black Panther is a bad movie. Don't get me wrong in that. I like Black Panther. I don't think it's the best thing ever. Eternals, I think, could maybe be the best MCU movie, only just because of who's behind it, in my opinion. West Side Story, we got a trailer released for this. I haven't seen it yet, but, it's Steven Spielberg. It's a musical. It's a movie that won 10 Oscars, I think. Seems like a drop kick, honestly. But, Ansel Elgort doesn't help. I could say that for another film later. The Last Duel, I have it outside the 10 because I figure only one Ridley Scott project's probably going to get a big push. For picture, at least. I think even the one that doesn't make it in could still get a screenplay and maybe acting nominations, but The Last Duel feels like the victim to that. Next Goal Wins. I had this higher before, but the fact, 1, Taika only had 1 good Oscar movie. 2, Army Hammer's in the movie. 3, it might be too New Zealand for people. I don't know, potentially. But Army Hammer's a big no-no, because unfortunately that guy is not a great person, and he's in the film. So we'll see how that works out, but I don't think that'll stop the movie from getting at least a few nominations. Picture could be a lot more on the edge, though. Flint Strong, I'm still pretty high in this movie, assuming it does come out. It has a Barry Jenkins script from director Rachel Morrison, who was one of the first women to get a director of photography nomination for her work on Mudbound. Obviously Barry Jenkins trusts her, and anyone Barry Jenkins trusts, I kind of trust. That's why I have her pretty high up. Dear Evan Hansen, people are pretty high on this musical overall, so Steven Chbosky can be, as the director, I'm a little questionable on. I'm not sure if he has the talent to, first of all, even be close to the director conversation, second of all, make a movie that would be in the picture conversation, but I think it will be close. Mass probably should be higher, honestly, but it doesn't have a solid release distributor and group to campaign it yet, so that's why I'm not as high on it. I need to skip some of these few other ones. The Card Counter, I'm very excited for Paul Schrader. Unfortunately, the Academy hasn't loved Paul Schrader's work all too much lately, and I've got a few other ones. I'm going to talk about those later. I want to try to get into some of the tech categories. I'm going to go through these a little quicker since I did them last episode. Joel Coen's still my number one. I think he'll definitely get nominated. I don't see why not. Guillermo del Toro, he won last time he tried to make an Oscar movie. This feels like an Oscar movie. I think he'll probably get nominated. Paul Thomas Anderson, honestly, again, I think Soggy Bottom has a good amount of potential to win. Same with Denis Villeneuve. I think these two, honestly, maybe have more potential to win than the two above them. But I also think they have a better chance of not being nominated than the other two. That's why I have them lower. Joel Coen just seems too easy, frankly. Jane Campion, you know, again, people are high on Power of the Dog. At least I am. People are high on The Piano. Probably would have won Best Picture if Schindler's List didn't exist, by the way. Ridley Scott, he might get nominated for one or the two. He'll definitely get a Golden Globes nomination. They love him. I would bet. Wes Anderson, maybe. Again, French Dispatch would have to have Grand Budapest levels. Eternals, I could see them giving another nomination to Chloe Zhao if she does a really good job with that. And if it makes it clear that it's her movie and not a Marvel movie, but we'll see. I think I haven't updated this enough, maybe. Adam McKay's gotten nominations twice. I don't know why, but he's there. And yeah, I know, I'll list the other two. Clint Eastwood's coming out with a movie. Again, he's very hit or miss, I'll say. I put him on the list because he's gotten 2 wins and 4 nominations. So, it's not impossible. Yeah. Franz Kranz, if Mask does well, I could see him still not getting in because Directors Guild doesn't love actor-directors. Bradley Cooper, Ben Affleck, and Regina King are all snub. Well, Regina King less so, but those are all snubs that people kind of agree, you know, makes the directors branch look like they don't like actor-directors. So Franz Kranz probably wouldn't be among them. Probably be among them as a snub, even if Mask does well. Alright, I'm going to move on to actor. Those are more interesting. Before I start talking about actor, I want to mention George Miller has a movie. I put it on the list. I should have maybe mentioned it before because it could definitely not come out. It does have a cast though, Tilda Swinton and Idris Elba. I'll be mentioning them. For actor, Michael Fassbender, you know, the role seems like it could easily be something. It feels like a J.K. Simmons type of role, you know, an angry, crazy coach, but in a Taika way, so he's probably going to be funny, be more alive in a way, so I think it could win. Sorry. Denzel Washington, again, feels like a too easy a nomination for Macbeth. You know, he's the titular character. He's a legend, so it feels like an easy nomination right there. Joaquin Phoenix, I think, you know, with Joker, and he's also playing a man with bipolar disorder. So I think this could easily get in. You know, that's a little bit of a Beatty role. Leonardo DiCaprio and Don't Look Up. I mean, he's got, like, you know, Adam McKay got Christian Bale a nomination, so he could get Leo one. And, you know, Leo's a big boy. He does a lot of roles, you know. Bradley Cooper, I have number 5 for either Nightmare Alley or potentially Soggy Bottom. Again, it's supposed to be an ensemble, so there might not be a lead at all. I think it might be Cooper Hoffman, so it's supposed to be about because he's playing the teen child star. But I put Bradley there because I think he'll probably be nominated for something. Jason Isaacs for Mask. Again, people say this should probably be nominated. Again, I'm not sure if Mask will get the release. I'm waiting for it to get picked up by a distributor like Coda did. Got picked up by Apple, which is why I think Coda might have a chance at like Screenplay, probably not Picture. Adam Driver for like House of Gucci or Annette. Again, I think he might be supporting for House of Gucci. Annette, he's probably lead. But again, I think Annette could get in for Annette. I'm not as high on it, I think, as other people, but it could get nominated. King Richard for Will Smith. I feel like I mentioned this already. Oh yeah, the card counter and Oscar Isaac. As long as he's not Ethan Hawke in First Reformed, the card counter is going to need to be awesome, which I'm pretty sure will be no matter what, but also be more Academy pleasing and less dark than like First Reformed. can't be as artistic. Well, I would rather it be artistic and not get Oscar nominations, but for it to get into here, it's going to have to probably be less out there. I put Ben Platt higher up now for Dear Evan Hansen. It's a Tony role. He did the role for the musical, so I think he could still be there. His dad. I think his dad is it dad? Yeah, his dad is Mark Platt. Pretty well known for being an Oscar campaigner, as a producer at least. Alright, yeah, I'm sorry if this has been awkward. I've been trying to compile all this information in my head. I'm going to move on to actress. Let me go through these quickly. I think Ana de Armas has that Oscar-winning potential role. Again, there's the potential she's not great and could not get nominated. It just feels like she has the most win potential. I put her number 1. Frances McDormand, based on results from this year's Oscars, you can't doubt Frances McDormand in the lead role. However, people think she might be thrown in supporting, which there's a chance, but based on what I know of the play, she's lead, and that would be an easy nomination. Lady Gaga, House of Gucci, again, if she proves she's a real actor beyond the music, easy nomination, and I think she is to a degree. Jennifer Hudson, for Respect, I think this will probably get nominated. Again, it's a pretty baity role, her playing a singer, obviously from this past year's Oscars, we show that, singer roles do get nominated. They don't win, though, but maybe this one will be better critically acclaimed than something like Billie Holiday. And maybe her performance is even better than Andra Day. Marion Cotillard for Annette. I think this might have low-key better chance than Adam Driver, even though this actress race is very stacked. Ann Dowd for Mass, again, not sure about Mass. I put Woman in the Window lower because I don't think Amy Adams, The Woman in the Window, it's getting released pretty early. It's getting released this May. Showing it, the Netflix doesn't have too much confidence in it as an Oscar movie, frankly, so I'm a little lower on that overall. 3,000 Years of Longing, I put Tilda Swinton only because I love her. And if George Miller movies does come out, I think she'll be competing. Flint Strong, Ryan Destiny. Again, I'm pretty high in Flint Strong. I don't think anyone's heard about it yet. And if it does come out this year, which I'm not sure about, again, this is another one that doesn't really have a release date, but I threw on anyways. Could be good. Olivia Colman, again, she's becoming sort of an Academy darling. She's not that she hasn't deserved them, obviously. She won for The Favorite. She got nominated for The Father. She has a lot of potential to get nominated for something even smaller. It's The Lost Daughter, I think, is being directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal. Interesting project. Could have potential. I put Cate Blanchett for Armageddon Time. I'm not sure if that movie will come out. It's supposed to be like a biopic from the director, who I can't remember, which is a bad sign, frankly. Thomasin McKenzie for Last Night in Soho. Again, Last Night in Soho apparently supposed to be more of a thriller, but I also know there are horror elements for sure, which is why I'm a little worried. It's probably going to get Academy ignored, like a lot of other Wright films. Angelina Jolie for Those Who Wish Me Dead. I think this could potentially get nominated. The fact that it's getting an earlier release from HBO Max makes me a little worried she might die out, even if she gives a great performance, but I mentioned her. Alright, let's move on. I'm going to try to talk about my top 9 of this category real quick. Adam Driver, assuming goes supporting, he might be category frauded. We'll see. He could easily be lead, but also I could see him being thrown supporting. Andrew Garfield for The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Apparently it's a role that should fit him well and give him a lot of potential. Adrian Brody for Blonde. I could easily see he's a great actor, and I think Blonde could easily be an actor vehicle. Matt Damon in The Last Duel. He's gotten 3 nominations for acting before, so it's definitely not impossible. However, again, The Last Duel might struggle. This is maybe one of the weaker categories. This might be the weakest acting category in my opinion. Benny Safdie for Soggy Bottom. Could easily be Bradley Cooper instead. But I think, if his role makes sense as supporting, and he's a really good actor, so he could get a lot of attention for this, especially if Soggy Bottom does well at the Academy. Richard Jenkins or Willem Dafoe for Nightmare Alley. Depends who has the bigger role, I think. Probably one of them will get nominated. I am worried they maybe don't have roles big enough, considering how ensemble the movie is. Bradley at lead, Toni Collette, Cate Blanchett and Rooney Mara supporting along with these two. I'm worried that, you know, Nightmare Alley can only get so many acting nominations. It'll probably get SAG for sure. Jared Leto and David Alvarez. Jared Leto for House of Gucci makes a lot of sense, along with Al Pacino. Either could get nominated based on, it's supposed to be a high-end soap opera, which means I think there's going to be a lot of acting in it. Again, this feels like an easy SAG ensemble nomination. David Alvarez is in an Oscar-winning role. I'm not as high on him as I was Ariana DeBose. I think I mentioned this last time, was because I haven't seen him do anything. He's in an Oscar-winning role, though, so he has potential. For supporting actress, depending on who has the biggest role, that will probably be a likely contender for the win. I'm putting Rooney Mara right now. Could easily be Cate Blanchett. That's why I have her as the second nomination. I think, you know, Toni Collette feels like she often gets left out, unfortunately. I'm going to predict that. Ariana DeBose, I'm very high on. I think she's easily going to get a nomination, frankly, because she's an amazing singer. She has one of the standout roles in West Side Story. And if that movie does well, it looks like it will do well enough. She'll be nominated. Elizabeth Moss for Next School Wins. I think she'll have a pretty important role. She hasn't got any Oscar attention before, so I think this would be a great movie for her to get in, especially if Armie Hammer doesn't ruin the fucking movie for Academy purposes. He won't ruin the movie as a whole because he's still a decent actor. But as far as publicity, people don't like to award pedophile movies unless it's The Pianist. I don't think he's a pedophile, though. He's just... I don't want to talk about that. Thomasin McKenzie for Power of the Dog. She's a very talented actress, and if Power of the Dog does well, I anticipate it will. She could easily compete. She could easily be knocked down. Julianne Moore has the Tony-winning role of Dear Evan Hansen, so she'll probably going all out for that. Martha Plimpton for Mass. Apparently she's maybe one of the persons who people feel like has got to get nominated. Again, I don't know exactly if these roles are right, whether she's supporting or lead for sure, because I haven't seen the movie myself. I'm going to assume it's that. Meryl Streep for Don't Look Up. I think she has the biggest role supporting wise. I should probably mention, I didn't add this to my list, that Jonah Hill could get nominated for supporting actor. Maybe apparently has that kind of role. Meryl Streep, just like, you know, 21 nominations. It's kind of hard to argue with that. Olga Murides, I probably botched her name, I'm sorry, for In the Heights, I think has gotten some hype. I think it'll still be pretty hard for her to get in because the actors were put, I saw the credits for it, don't ask me how, but I saw that she was put behind the all the tech people, and all the actors were at least, so it makes me worried that the actors might not be campaigned at all, which would be disappointing because apparently they're good. Apparently Anya Taylor-Joy is lead, I think, for Last Night in Soho. She might be supporting for like Amsterdam, so she could be here for the David O. Russell movie that has not gotten an official title. Alright, let's move on. Original screenplay was looking kind of weak to me. Again, I think Wes Anderson will still probably get nominated for original screenplay at least, even if it doesn't get picture, frankly, because which is why I have it number one, because if it's a picture movie, it could easily compete for the win, and I think it will almost for sure get nominated, because something like Moonrise Kingdom can. Pretty sure this one could. Don't Look Up, again, Adam McKay has done really well with screenplays. He's won one and got another nomination, so, you know, feels like that could happen. Saki Bottom from PTA, again, I think has a lot of potential for picture, so he could easily end up being the winner again. You know, PTA can be a little hit or miss. Like The Master, while it got acting nominations, did not get any other nominations. Could be like that, potentially. The Last Duel, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon collabed on a script again. Last time they did that, they won an Oscar. Don't think that will happen again, though. Mass this is the one thing I'm actually giving Mass right now, because this feels like a weaker category overall. You know, I think the writing will definitely be acknowledged. Apparently that's the second most powerful thing in the movie besides the acting. And again, the acting is a little more crowded, so that's why I'm not confident it will get nominated. The Card Counter, Paul Schrader got nominated for First Reformed, so it could easily get in. I wouldn't see reason why not. Competing for the win is potential if it's a masterpiece that can appeal to the Academy. Again, fortunately, a lot of this stuff is going to have to appeal to the Academy, even though personally I'm probably going to love it no matter what. Apollo 10.5, only because Richard Linklater has a lot of nominations for writing, and if Apollo is more of an Oscar movie, even though I know he's done rotoscoping before, and they haven't really got much awards attention. So it could be one of those, or it could be an Oscar contender, who knows. Coda, I think has a little bit of potential to compete, especially since it got picked up by Apple. And while people obviously liked it at Sundance, I'm not sure if it has enough to get... This is probably where it has the best chance. Come On, Come On, from Mike Mills, who was nominated for 20th Century Women. He could be in here, if that's good. Spencer, from Pablo Larraín, written by Stephen Knight, who has a nomination for Screenplay. I think that could get in. King Richard, maybe. He's doing Creed 3. Not the highest acclaim based on that. He hasn't done a ton of other movie projects before, but it has potential. I think it could, be something people don't expect. And Kanto or Luca, or maybe an animated film that's an original screenplay could be in here. I put Luca for now only because it's Pixar. Yeah, I'm defaulting to Pixar. Look at me. Blah, blah, blah. Adapted, definitely more full, I'd say. Tragic Macbeth, again, feels like a too easy nomination. Nightmare Alley also feels like an easy nomination. Next School wins, even if this isn't a picture movie. I could easily see Taika getting nominated for writing. House of Gucci, maybe less so. It could be more of an acting vehicle overall. Again, but it has a lot of picture potential, so I'm putting it there. Dune, I think Denis and Eric Roth, well, I'm a little less... I'm honestly more certain that it'll get director than screenplay, but it could easily get both. The Power of the Dog from Jane Campion, again, I'm pretty high on this movie. I'm excited for it. I think this will be one of the big things that Netflix pushes. And, Netflix is good at getting nominations. Not as so good at getting wins, but that's not what I'm predicting here. Flint Strong from Barry Jenkins. It's Barry Jenkins, for crying out loud. He's won one. He at least got nominated for If Beale Street Could Talk. Should have gotten a picture nomination easily. That was a crime. I love that movie. Eternals. Chloe Zhao helped pen the script along with the Firpo brothers. I don't know who those guys are, but could easily be something that gets maybe it's a good script. Who knows? It's not impossible for superhero movies to get nominated in screenplay, also known as Logan. West Side Story. Again, this feels like an easy kind of thing to compete, considering what it's based on. In the Heights, I think has a little potential here. Not a ton though, personally. I don't know, musicals don't usually get nominated, which is why there's a good amount, like Dear Evan Hansen as well, I'm a little less sure of overall. The Woman in the Window, if it somehow manages to be a success, I could see potentially competing here, but it needs to be a really big success considering its release date. And then I have Blonde, because Andrew Dominik got nominated for... Okay, he didn't get nominated for anything, but it's based on an acclaimed book, okay? I don't think I changed anything from score. I talked about this last time. Dune, Hans Zimmer feels like an easy competitor for both the nomination and a win. Why not? Alexandre Desplat will probably get at least one nomination this year from either The French Dispatch or Nightmare Alley, maybe both. Tragic Macbeth, Carter Burwell's gone to a couple nominations before, and Tragic Macbeth will probably have a score. I think the score will be somewhat featured because, it's a play. It can only have so much dialogue. The Power of the Dog, assuming Johnny Greenwood, who's doing that, he's great. Love his scores. Got nominated for Phantom Thread. Could get nominated for Soggy Bottom, assuming he does that. I don't think that's been confirmed. Has been confirmed he's doing Power of the Dog. And he could, as long as he doesn't use too much of his own music already, should qualify. Eternals from Juan Min Dawaji. I probably really botched that name. I'm sorry. He did Game of Thrones stuff, and he won a couple Emmys for his work on Game of Thrones scores. So he could easily be here. Cruella from Nicholas Britell. I love Nicholas Britell. I think he's really good. Again, this feels like it'll be more of a Vice or The Big Short. His score won't be as beautiful or as prominent as Moonlight or If Beale Street Could Talk. But if it is enough, maybe it could compete. Who knows? Raya and the Last Dragon. Maybe one of my favorite parts of that movie. James Newton Howard. Great score. He's gotten a lot of nominations. Most recently won for News of the World this past year. So I think this can compete, but again, I think Raya would need to hold a lot of momentum. Not sure if it will. We'll see. So I had some discussion with some people about this category a lot, animated feature, and there's a lot of things to consider. For one, Luca apparently has gotten word that it's good, but not great. Apparently it's okay. Apparently it might be a weaker Pixar, which would be unfortunate, but we'll have to see for ourselves. Encanto feels like the most hyped project to me right now. It is Lin-Manuel Miranda doing a musical. Apparently the concept's very exciting to a lot of people, and it will get a release date close to the Oscars, which always helps. I put Mitchells vs. Machines. I think this will also probably get in. Netflix will probably push this along with Vivo. And I think Vivo also has a very good chance. It has cinematography by Roger Deakins, or consulting at least. And he did that on Rango as well. And Rango won Best Animated Feature, so he's technically 1 for 1, you know what I'm saying? Raya is a good movie. I don't know if it can hold momentum for a whole year again. I do put it in here. I don't know if it could hold I don't think it could hold momentum for a win, honestly. But it's still a good movie. Flea apparently has gotten a lot of good hype from Sundance. It won some of the major awards for animation, I think. Neon is distributing that film. They're pretty good at putting up some Oscar contenders, specifically Parasite. Neon was behind that for American distribution. Where is Anne Frank? I put this a little lower. 1, because I don't know if it's coming out for sure, and 2, it might be too obscure for the Academy to acknowledge, which would be suck, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to see it, I'm going to like it. The director's pretty good. Apollo 10.5 I was a little higher on, but I put it down because it's rotoscoping. Those Richard Linklater projects haven't done too well in this category. But who knows, maybe it could. Wish Dragon, another Sony Pictures animation film, I think that's coming to Netflix. It feels like it'll probably get left behind Vivo and Mitchells vs. Machines, which, by the way, has pretty good reviews so far. Belle, I'm trying to remember which studio is doing this. The directors, though, have gotten a nomination, or the director has gotten a nomination for an Oscar and animation feature before, according to my notes. That's why I'm looking down so much, I'm sorry. And then I put a couple of studio films because sometimes those squeak in. We're finally going to the techies. Cinematography looks very stacked. Tragedy Macbeth could easily be the kind of winner. I think it'll compete for picture, and if it's like Mank, it's in black and white, very well shot. It could win again, who knows, maybe that's the new theme. Black and white pictures and best picture get the cinematography win. Things like Roma, The Artist. Did The Artist win cinematography? Actually, I don't think it did. I think Hugo won. Okay, I'm stupid. Nightmare Alley from Dan Dan Louston. I'm stupid. I'm sorry. He got nominated for Shape of Water. He could easily be nominated for Nightmare Alley. Some of the first images we saw look gorgeous, and those are even from the film itself. So, you know what I'm saying. Dune, Greg Fraser, big movie, big, Denis energy. His movies have gotten a lot of nominations. Of course, he's worked with Roger on 2 of them, but he still got Brendan Young a nomination for Arrival. I don't think they even had too much momentum overall. Don't Look Up is Linus Seingred. I'm probably going to move this down, honestly, because Don't Look Up, Adam McKay movies shouldn't be cinematography competitors, but this looks like it might be more cinematic than his other movies from the very few images we have. The French Dispatch, Robert Yeoman. Honestly, you gotta acknowledge that even if you hate Wes Anderson, his composition and shots are amazing. So this should definitely be nominated. House of Gucci, Darius Wolski, I think he's working on both of Ridley Scott's projects. Could easily be nominated for either one, or neither. I don't think both, but that's competing. I'll list the rest. The only other notable one is maybe King Richard, honestly, because that's a movie I think could maybe low-key compete for picture, probably not, but Robert Elswit, who has worked with directors like PTA on There Will Be Blood and won for that movie, could easily be here, but we'll have to see. For editing, again, I kind of threw picture movies in here because we don't know how the editing is going to look anyways, and based on Sound of Metal, frankly, sound is gonna matter. So that's why I'm kind of thinking maybe Dune, honestly. If it's making that move like a really long book efficient and well told, I could see that winning. I put House of Gucci because the Ridley Scott's recent editor collaborator, Pietro Scalia, has a lot of success. 2 wins and 4 nominations. The Tragedy Macbeth, Joel Cohen. You know, if this is a picture movie, it should probably be here. West Side Story. Again, I think the cutting of the musicals could be a lot more, could be showy, like Chicago 7 or something like that, and that's why, you know, and Michael Kahn has gotten a lot of nominations and a couple wins, so I could easily see that happening. I'm not going to talk about the rest because I don't really have much to say. Just read the rest, pause the video if you want. Production design. Dune is my number 1, only because if they count something like, you know, well, I think there's going to be a lot of sets on Dune, but also if they think about things like the space worm, even though I'm pretty sure that's visual effects, but if they think of that as production design in any way, it's probably going to win. Tragedy Macbeth, again, it's a period piece. It's going to have castles probably. Feels like, you know, something that would get nominated. French Dispatch, you know, Wes Anderson films are very much known for their production design, so if it's competing for picture, it can't not be here in my opinion. Nightmare Alley, again, Shape of Water was kind of like that. House of Gucci, I think it's going to be pretty showy, it's probably going to be pretty lavish looking, going to have a lot of rich houses and mansions and stuff. That'll probably get nominated. West Side Story, again, it kind of has, I think this one, if I remember correctly, but I think it has a lot of iconic sets, and recreating them could get a nomination. For Dune and for sound, I think Dune, again, could easily win. If the sounds from things like the creatures and the people on the planet are any indication, it will probably win, honestly. Tragedy Macbeth, you know, sound mixing will probably be prominent. There'll probably be some swords and some other, maybe a few action type scenes that will have editing. Eternals, I think this could easily happen. I'm not sure if Black Panther got any nominations, but I know it's gotten a couple MCU things have got nominations. I'm not sure about which ones specifically. West Side Story, it's a musical. The mixing will be very prominent. There might be a little bit of editing prominent enough in the movie that it could get nominated. Nightmare Alley, I think could have an easily good chance. It'll probably have an old-timey sound, kind of like Mank a little bit. Probably not like Mank though. Last Night in Soho, I think, you know, Edgar Wright always plays a lot with sound. It'll probably aid the thriller elements. I had Woman in the Window a little higher on this. I think it still has some potential. No Time to Die probably should be in my nominations because James Bond films usually do pretty well, especially the good ones. And based on the idea that every other Bond film of Daniel Craig's run has been good, this one will be good. And based on the director, Cary Joji Fukunaga, he did Beasts of No Nation. Very much looking forward to that idea. Very much looking forward to his direction. I list the rest. Top Gun Maverick is an interesting one that I think could easily get nominated. The last one got nominated, so who knows? You know, lots of planes usually equals some sound hype. Visual effects feels like such a slam dunk for Dune with things like the space worm and probably the other effects that will be implemented into the movie. And Denis is very good at those. Eternals, again, it's apparently going for more practical effects, so, but, you know, the Academy has gone for more practical effects movies. I think Tenet, especially, is a good example of that, going over something like The Midnight Sky. But the fact that Midnight Sky even took VES makes me a little worried that, you know, practical effects don't always win. I mean, 1917 won for practical effects over Avengers Endgame, so who knows? The Suicide Squad feels like, I don't know, it could be in a couple places. Makeup, I think I mentioned it in makeup. Godzilla vs. Kong, the Kong movie got nominated, so I don't see why not this one. It was very well done. I think it's maybe better than Kong Skull Island, so I could easily see it nominated. Yeah, alright, let's move on. This is one of the below the line categories that I think is quite stacked, in my opinion. Costumes, there's a lot of potential for stuff. Cruella, West Side Story, French Dispatch, House of Gucci, Tragedy Macbeth, Eternals, Spencer, Last Night in Soho. It's about girls who want, or at least a girl who wants to become a fashion designer. Nightmare Alley, Soggy Bottom, The Power of the Dog, like The Woman in the Window even. That's kind of where it stops. The Last Duel, because it has ancient kind of stuff. A lot of this stuff could be nominated, because a lot of it is period, the kind of, and you know, fancy, the kind of stuff the Academy loves to nominate. So, I don't know. I'm going to put my top 5 there. It'll probably change in the future because I have no idea, but that's my top 5 for now. Makeup, if you've there's already been an image released of Jared Leto and it's pretty hard to recognize him, so could easily win. Dune, I think will have a good amount of makeup from what we've seen, so I think that could be in there. The Suicide Squad again, the original Suicide Squad won this freaking award, so like, you know, hopefully the better version at least gets nominated in theory. Cruella, again, it looks very showy in that department. It has an award-winning makeup and hairstylist, so I think this could easily be there. And also same with the costume designer. She, I think it's, who is it again? Jenny Beavan, who has 2 wins and 10 nominations, so she's definitely not a slacker. So I don't think Cruella will be a slacker completely in the Oscars. Blonde, because they have to transform Ana de Armas into Marilyn Monroe. Those movies usually get nominated. And yeah, just check out my list. Original song, Encanto, I think is a very good chance to win. Lin-Manuel Miranda could fill his entire category by himself. He has In the Heights, Tick Tick Boom, Encanto, and Vivo, all of which he could potentially do original music. Annette has an opera singer, so that could get in for song. West Side Story might have an original song at the end. In the Heights has one, definitely one I don't think will win. It has one in the credits, but it could maybe get nominated. Vivo, again, is there. Luca, it sounds like it might have some music in it from the trailer that we got. So yeah, this will be interesting, but I'm still going with No Time to Die and Billie Eilish. It won the Grammy. It could maybe lose momentum considering, but I think you know, I don't think so, because No Time to Die will get released close enough to the Oscars. Billie will drop another album, maybe get some hype going for that aspect, and yeah, I think she'll have a good chance at winning. Lastly, SAG Ensemble, fucking stacked, bro. Nightmare Alley, it could have up to like 4 acting nominations, maybe even 5, but that would probably take a miracle. But SAG nomination is easy. Tragedy Macbeth, again, has, you know, 2 strong leads from Frances McDormand, Denzel Washington. Has a lot of other talented supporting actors like Corey Hawkins and Brendan Gleeson, a couple other people. House of Gucci could have up to 3 acting nominations. Jared Leto, Al Pacino, Adam Driver, Lady Gaga. Seems like a pretty good package. The French Dispatch, again, the Grand Budapest Hotel did get nominated for this award, thank God. And it will be very SAG Ensemble-y because it's an anthology movie. And if it competes in picture, it should be here. Power of the Dog, I think it's a very strong cast. Jesse Plemons, who I think is very good and will become one of Hollywood's biggest stars. Benedict Cumberbatch, Thomasin McKenzie, Kirsten Dunst, all very solid actors. All could give some of the best of their careers. Has a lot of potential. Soggy Bottom, I should have put here. I did put it here. What am I talking about? I can edit this video. I think that will probably get in. I'm probably putting it over Power of the Dog at this moment, only because I think Power of the Dog has lesser known actors, and there's only 4 of them. They usually like a little more than 4. Don't Look Up has a lot of people. Same with Eternals. They have a lot of, especially Don't Look Up. And Amsterdam would easily probably be here competing as well if it gets released. Again, I'm not sure for sure. Doesn't have a release date, no trailers, not a lot of information. That's why I'm holding back on it. So yeah, check out the rest of my predictions there for SAG Ensemble. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Really appreciate all the love I've been getting on these Oscar predictions for next year. Let me know what your guys' predictions are, and if I missed anything, I really appreciate some of your helpful comments out last episode. And yeah, thank you.